everyone. Great to have you with us. It's a brand new edition of the MSG 150 at Home presented by Chase. Bill Pito along with Michelle Gingras, Steve Valiquette, and Alan Hahn. And Alan Hahn has brought a prop to the show.
Yeah, I've been looking for this because I knew I had it. I went to the archives. So
Look to the archives to find that.
My rookie year as a beat writer happened to also be a rookie year for someone else on the show. This is and you see the headline.
Hey,
now check the byline. Okay, so I was there with you, baby. I was there at the very beginning. Most important stat, of course, is the fact the Islanders got the win, and Steve Valiquette was the goalie there. And I'll give you his quote. His first quote, Val, I don't know if you remember this, because you talked to me about this is against the Atlanta Thrashers. They don't exist anymore. That doesn't matter. You talked to me about how you had posters in your room of Patrick Waugh and Felix Potvin. And you said, I'm such a big fan of the NHL. I think because I'm such a big fan, it made it a lot more difficult for me to play. But I was able to get over that. And you certainly were. You made 37 saves for the win. And there were actually a lot of people there. There's 15,000 people in the building.
Valley, you should have retired right then.
hey, listen, I'm just glad he found it because now we have proof it happened. Thank you very much, Alan. And, hey, guys, I went a long time from that game until my next win. I was told that I've gone the longest tenured goaltender to go from his first win to his next win. It was 7.5 or 8 years. So, geez, that brings up some memories. And it was a hard road after that. A lot of perseverance along the way.
But you made it.
You got back there.
Jeez. We love you. You're the best.
Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, and by the way, your stats that year with the Islanders, if people want to go to Hockey Reference and check them, nothing to be ashamed of at all that year.
I remember. I'm a stats guy. 949 save percentage. Tell your friends. Come on.
All right, guys, as always, we want to say thank you to the healthcare workers, and we want to let everyone know we're taking care of those who are taking care of us. Madison Square Garden and Chase partnering to deliver takeout orders from local restaurants for frontline workers throughout the tri-state area. Thank you to our home team heroes. And guys, speaking of the home team, our home basketball team with some big news, reportedly set to hire 2 new assistant GMs. Walt Perrin, who will work in college scouting, has had great success with the Utah Jazz, and also Frank Zanin, who's going to join the Knicks front office after working for OKC. So, Alan, Leon Rose, the new Knicks president, starting to put his stamp now on his own front office.
And you remember, too, also reports of Brock Aller, who was with the Cleveland Cavaliers as a capologist, is also going to be part of this front office when they do officially put it all together. And, that was what was going to be interesting to see when Leon Rose took the job is, okay, what kind of stamp is he going to put on this team? And I've always said that there's a salary cap for the roster, but not for your front office. You can go out and get the best of the best, and you certainly can when you're the New York Knicks, and you get experienced people, and that's what he went out and got. He got people that have been in the league for 20 years, and it starts, I really do think, Perrin is a very interesting hire, somebody that has had a lot of success with the draft with Utah. He worked with Scott Perry, who remains the GM here for the foreseeable future with Leon Rose. So they have worked together in Detroit back in the early 2000s when they were building a team that won a championship and went on a run for the Eastern Conference Finals for a number of years in a row. And I think to me, the scouting part of it, and that also Zanin. Zanin spent 3 years scouting for the Thunder. He spent a long time with the Nets with Billy King, and he also had spent time with the Sixers, came up as a scout as well. So you bring in 2 guys in the front office where scouting is at their foundation, watching players and building a franchise that way. That's very important for the Knicks and where they are, and especially, again, doing it through the draft.
I want to point out, guys, Perrin with the Jazz over the last 19 years, part of a front office that has made picks like Donovan Mitchell, Gordon Hayward, Rudy Gobert, Paul Millsap, Darren Williams. So, Valley, they've done a great job, Perrin with Utah. And when it comes down to it, when you are evaluating talent, is it luck or is it skill?
No, it's absolutely skill. There's a skill because it's very easy to track. Anybody in analytics can look at anybody's draft and see how successful they've been over time. And then you have to find out what people are finding the best players that are going to play in your lineup 2 to 3 years for hockey outside of the draft. And some teams are pulling 2 and 3 players out of every draft. There's a huge story in Vancouver right now, and it involves Judd Brackett and Dan Palango. a lot of people in hockey circles are saying that these are the two biggest free agents of this hockey off season. And these guys are both scouts. Now, most scouting staffs are 14 to 15 scouts that are out scouring the planet for players. And those scouting staffs are usually about a combined budget of $3 million between salaries and expenses. And to Alan's point, you have to spend a lot of money in these resources in this day and age, because it's not the way it used to be, where 10 and 15 years ago, you could fix your problems by overpaying at free agency July 1st. Now it's draft and develop, find the best players. If you look at the past history in Vancouver, Brock Besser 3 years ago could have won a Calder Trophy. He had a season-ending injury. He didn't get it. 2 years ago, it was Elias Pettersson that won Rookie of the Year, and this year Quinn Hughes was up for it. These are three players that weren't first overall picks, but in the late to middle round. And you look at Vancouver's history, guys, I'm telling you, 2 to 3 players every year. Every team in the NHL at this time of the pause should be looking to upgrade their scouting staff, because that's where you can find gold and then have a future contender a lot sooner.
Yeah, Valley, that's a great point. I mean, and you think about the way the NHL draft works and how often we hear stories of guys that they found in the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th round that still end up having a huge impact on whichever team they end up on. And that's just a testament to the homework that these scouts are doing and going to all parts of the world and scouring for like just the best talent. And I think Perrin is similar from the standpoint that he's been described as a road warrior. Any guy that's been anywhere in any job for 19 years, they're doing something right. That's a starter right there. But the fact that he just loves being in gyms, he loves being around talent, and it's not necessarily the highest profile player that's being talked about by everyone. He's trying to find the guys that are flying under the radar, because I really believe he knows what to look for and can help cultivate a team and build consistency throughout the years.
Michelle, Jamie Benn was a 5th rounder, right?
There you go.
What are we talking about? Imagine the amount of money that scout just made his franchise. And
How about Henrik Lundqvist, 7th rounder?
Henrik Lundqvist, 7th rounder. And you can go through every single team. Tampa Bay drafts extraordinarily well for the late round picks as well. But if you're going to talk about adding value to your scouting staff that can bring a franchise player after the 1st and 2nd round, there's enough stories out there that should really intrigue people in front offices.
And another
Gobert pick, Alan, by Perrin. The Gobert pick was just genius.
Yeah, well, that's international scouting there. But, you know, as to what Valley was saying, you want to talk about, you know, fines. Mitchell Robinson was a 2nd round pick, and nobody knew who he was. He didn't even play college basketball. He left college before he even got to his season. And he was just working out in a gym in Louisiana. It's just who you know, and then you go out there and you go scout, you go watch. All right, go see him. Is he worth our time? You know, that's what you got to do. You got to have, as they say, boots on the ground. You got to get to some of these places and you got to watch them. Now, you know, it's not to say that that doesn't always go on, but you want to get the guys that's in their blood. That's what they love to do. I want to be in the gym and I want to watch players. And, you know, Zanin is somebody that's been scouting now for 3 years after having experience in the front office. So as a scout, when you're out there now watching games, you get to know the league a lot better than you do when you're sitting at a desk and you're doing a lot of, you know, paperwork. This is now when you're out there again watching players. Very important when you're trying to rebuild a franchise like Leon Rose is doing, and you already have a foundation of young players. Very important to have people that know the league and certainly know the upcoming draft. It's going to be very valuable for the Knicks as they go forward.
All right, Zanin, a part of an OKC front office that made a brilliant trade, giving up Paul George, getting all those assets back, the draft picks, and not missing a beat at all. So we have Perrin, we have Zanin, both reportedly set to join the Knicks front office. And when we come back, Michelle and I will talk to former Giants linebacker Antonio Pierce, now an assistant under Herm Edwards at ASU. So how's COVID-19 impacting the preparation for the college football season? We'll find out when we come back after this on the MSG 150 at Home, presented by Chase.